Hey everybody, and welcome to Monday night get together slash team call slash whatever you want to call it call. So I'm really excited to see your faces, and I put this in a different chat, not actually in your team chat, but I am going to give away an Amazon gift card today to people who have their camera on. It's Christmas time, and it's time for mamas to be shopping. So I will be giving away an Amazon gift card tonight for people who show me their beautiful face, no matter if it looks pretty or not, you think. Okay, so tonight we are going to do a couple things. Like I said, we may go over a couple minutes over 9 o'clock, but it will not be long because we're going to make it short and sweet tonight. Just have a couple of things to go over. So the first thing is that this Thursday we have an event, which is a messenger chat event, and we have not had one of those in a long time. And so we're going to be doing a business focused messenger event. And I know a lot of people are like, I don't like those as much because it's not as much about the products. Well, that is something that you definitely want to work on. You want to send messages out to people about the business, and you're like, you're crazy. I'm not doing that. So I just want to encourage you with that though, because a lot of times those business reach outs actually turn into customers. For example, I've had this happen. I've been reaching more out about the business specifically, and you would be very surprised what people say, and the things that they talk about. And I have actually reached out to people about the business without even them being on the products. And it was just kind of funny. I was kind of nervous, just being honest, because that's not my typical way of doing my business. And so, but those conversations went right into the products. And so who's to say that those people won't eventually turn into customers? There was a couple that I've actually sent some samples to, and they already know about the business. I don't even have to talk about that because we've already had that conversation. And so it's already removed that barrier there that some people have about talking about the business. And so I really encourage you to do that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab just like one or two of my messages that I've sent out so you can hear an example. And then, but while I'm doing that, Jennifer, are you good to go? Okay. Jennifer is going to do just a couple of minutes about one of our products that I have to admit, y'all, I haven't bought it in so long. I didn't even really know if it was even in the back office anymore for some reason. I don't know why I didn't think this, but she mentioned it and I'm like, oh my word, you need to talk about that for just a few minutes tonight. Tell some really good stuff because there's some awesome ingredients in this product, and I want her to share about that for just a second.
Hello, ladies. So, you always feel 25, and then you talk to a 25-year-old and you realize you're in your late 30s. And I really don't need to be reminded of that. But then I pulled out my bottle of Block tonight to look at the label, and I couldn't see it. So I had to take my phone camera out and zoom in. Is that terrible, or is just Plexus makes the labels really small, right? Like it's not my eyes, just the labels are really small. So just a little bit depressing tonight as I had to do that. But I ordered this a few months ago just to try again. It had been probably a year or two, maybe longer, since I had tried it. And so, yeah, Jenny, you got your vitabiome. And so, but Block is one of, I've just recently started using it within the last 2 to 3 months, and I like it. So I'm kind of keeping it on hand, but I've been taking it at night. And so Ashley was like, can you talk about some of the benefits of it? And I'm like, I not read any of that science stuff. I just take it because I know it's good for me. So I was reading some on polyphenols because it has polyphenols from brown seaweed. And so I was just reading some information about polyphenols, and they are nutrients that come from plants, which all of our supplements are plant-based, and they have different benefits like reducing blood pressure, your blood sugar, and even help with high cholesterol levels. And I was like, oh, that is great because I actually have genetically high cholesterol. And so then I was starting to read about brown seaweed, like what is it good for? And it actually has antioxidants in it, and it's anti-inflammatory. And so we all need all the anti-inflammatory supplements that we can get. And then one of the other ingredients that's in our block is white kidney bean extract. And so that, along with the chromium, because there's also chromium in block, helps to balance that blood sugar and reduce blood sugar and insulin levels in the bloodstream. So it can even, that's kind of where it comes in as a carb blocker. So that's what you take block as. I don't take mine first thing in the morning or right before I go to bed. It's not that type of supplement. Like, block is to be taken when you want to block the carbs. So your heaviest carb meal. And so a friend of mine from church, she takes a lot of our products. So she always has it on hand when we have our church fellowship dinners, because we all know we like the mac and cheese. We like Gladys's strawberry cake that she brings and all the other many things. So block is great to kind of have on hand for those things. So again, it's just going to help when you are eating those high carb meals that are going to spike that blood sugar and insulin levels. It's going to help bring those down and balance them out.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing that. And I remember when I first saw that white kidney bean extract in there, I was like, what in the world? But it was so cool to me that we are using a plant like that to block carbs. And so there's a lot of other good things in there too. If you ever just get bored, just randomly type in one of the ingredients in one of our products into Google, and you're like mind blown again. You're like, oh my word, we really do have really good products. Or if you're a science teacher like me and you just like to find that kind of thing out. Okay, so let's talk some more about what I was telling you guys about the business event on Thursday. This is going to be in a messenger chat. So, it's completely, to me, unoffensive to people. It's not like they have to show their face. I want to read to you a couple of messages that I've sent in the last little bit, if I can make sure I pull it up right here. Well, I had it up and then it just disappears. Okay. Here's one that we had a teacher event, and I sent this to a lady that I've known for a really long time. And this is what I said to her. Let's see, hang on just a second. We got more people coming in. I said to her, okay, I said, I saw you were changing positions this year. Hope it's off to a great start. FYI, we're kind of sort of talking about messaging here along with this event, but I always look at people's Facebook before I send them a message. You don't want to send somebody who just their mom and daddy just passed away or something crazy like that. Like, it is not the time. And so I always glance over just to make sure I haven't missed any life-changing events. And so that our team's hosting a Facebook event for teachers. I don't know if it's something that would be a good fit for you, but it seems like a lot of people, and here are a couple of buzzwords, are seeking security of extra income. Okay. Whether it's a couple $100s a month, and went over a couple things to cover sports, have more for groceries, or have another income stream. Plexus has a flexible income. No, I did not use the word business. You don't need to use that word. Flexible income opportunity that's been a huge blessing to me. This is a no pressure event. Simply learn about what Plexus has to offer. There will be personal stories. This was a teacher event from teachers like you and some fun giveaways. What are your thoughts about checking it out? And she obviously responded to me pretty quickly on that because it was a non-offensive message. It wasn't like you have to get some business and go work that business. Here's another one. Okay, well, I don't have another one just like that, but I did want to read to you another message, another example. I don't have that other one pulled up right now, but I wanted to read you one more example of something that I like to hear things that people say. And so I wanted to share these with you just because it might just spur on new thinking. I've been doing this for 7 years and my message has changed 7,000 times. So I know that we adapt and we grow and we learn. And I think that that's something that we all need to be doing. We're always bettering our craft. And the great news is, though, is you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. So even if your message really stinks, sometimes it gets the point across. Here was another one that I sent to somebody because I don't know if y'all have this problem or not, but sometimes I will like be talking to somebody and forget about them. Does anybody ever do that? Okay. And you look back in your messages and you're like, oh my word, I never responded to that person 6 months ago or like a year ago because their messages got buried and then things happened and life happened. And so you're looking back and you're like, oh my goodness, I've got to go back and follow up with this person. What do I even say? Here's an example of that. This had been a long time. And this girl was not even my friend. It was somebody that my sister knew. And so it was like a weird kind of situation where I really didn't even know her. But anyway,
Salmonella.
Oh, are you talking, Valerie?
Didn't mean to. Sorry.
You're fine. I thought you were adding to that. Okay. So I wanted to read to you what I said to her. Okay. I said, hey, I hope you're doing well. I know we connected that time at swimming lessons with my sister, but we haven't talked a lot since. Here's the other reason why I was messaging her. She watched my stories every day. I'm like, I don't even know this girl very much. Like, I've got to talk to her. So I made sure to reach out to her because I'm like, she's one of my fans, is what I call them. The people who are watching your stories are your fans. You need to be messaging those people. Those are the people who know what Plexus is. They're watching you talk about it. Okay, so I said to her, I know we connected that one time at swim lessons, but haven't talked a lot since. Here's where I make a connection with her. I know we're both busy mamas, but I wonder, did you ever get to try Plexus? Because they were talking about Plexus at swimming lessons that time. But I knew my sister hadn't like followed up with her. I said, I'm sure you see me post about it all the time, but it's really helped me with immunity, clean energy, gut health, and feeling like I'm not just surviving every day. I'm not sure if that's something that you and your hubby are looking for or not. That's all I said to her. She responded back with this post this long about all the things that she's going through right now. A lot of times we get this in our head and we go, oh my goodness, well, I talked to that person a year ago. Oh my goodness, it's time to talk again because how much changes in a year? Like our health can completely go down the tube in a year. And so if I haven't talked to them in a year or two and they didn't respond to me, I'm going to send them another message, especially if they're watching my stories, commenting on my stuff. You haven't tried Plexus yet, you need to, and you know what it is. And maybe your life has changed since we last talked or since I last messaged you. You probably saw it in your message box and didn't think anything about it. So this is my challenge for you. I want you guys to invite people to this business event. We do not do these events just because we just love to do them. We do it because our team needs it. Number one, you need it. You want to grow your business. You want to see growth under you. You're never going to get it unless you go out and find people who want this business. And they are there. Okay. You are on this call because you wanted this business, and there are people who want this business. They just don't know that they want it because they haven't really been talked to. And so, and you may be even thinking, well, I've talked to people, I've shared about the business. Well, do it again. Their situation might have changed, and so I really want you to be bold and be brave this week. I've read to you some of this has been hard for me, y'all, to talk about the business. Talking about the products, I could do it all day long. Talking about the business is scary to me. Am I alone? Anybody else? Anybody raise your hand if it's scary. Sarah, me and Sarah and Sherry. Okay, everybody's scared. Okay, everybody raise their hand. Okay, it's scary. I don't know why, but it is. Okay. But if we go ahead and just rip the Band-Aid off, it's easier from there on. You've got the Band-Aid off. You can make it through anything. Okay, so that's my challenge to you. And it's Monday. The event's on Thursday. Okay, I want you to challenge yourself with some amount. Either I'm going to send out 1, I'm going to send out 3, I'm going to send out 5, I'm going to send out 10. I want you to try to get somebody in that chat. Because what if this is that one thing, y'all? What if this is the one thing that somebody really does need for the next season of their life? Okay, which is kind of what I want to talk about now. And then we're going to end our call tonight. As y'all know, in the Bible, there is a part about different seasons of life. And like I said, most of us have been on this, a lot of us in this call have been here for years. And there's some of you who are new and you're kind of just getting started. You need to hear this too. Like, I've had 2 babies since I've been with Plexus. My husband's went through like huge, huge life changing things in since I've been with Plexus. Excuse me. We built a house. Like we have undergone a lot of stress since we've been doing this business. There's been this and this and this and this, and you cannot take off from your life in order to work this business, right? And sometimes there are seasons whenever life is heavy and life is hard. And so oftentimes the first thing to go is our Plexus business. I mean, we're just being real here for just about 5 minutes, okay? So I sort of want to encourage y'all in that, not to tell you that that doesn't need to happen. What I want to encourage you with is to know that those seasons are going to come. And the reason why I want to talk about that a little bit is because I've sort of come into a new one, like in the last few weeks in my life. And so, just to be honest, I wanted to go into my little hole and hide because that's my favorite place to be. And, it's so easy for me to withdraw during those times. And, but I want to encourage you because there are 2 things. I want you to know it's okay when it happens to you, when life gets hard and heavy and things in your life are so loud that you can't think. So one, I want to encourage you that it's okay to take that step for you and your family if you need it for that time. But the second thing I want to encourage you with is not to stay there for very long, because while it is my comfy, happy place to be very reserved, quiet, and to myself, it's not where I'm supposed to stay. And so, just like today, I was having a conversation with my husband, and my husband knows the issues that I struggle with that come along with our business. This is not one of my struggle issues. Being on this call with y'all is my love about this business. Posting on social media is at the bottom of my list. Hate it. Okay. Hate social media. And he knows that I daily struggle to make it through a social media in order to work this business. Okay. But he looked at me today when I was telling him, I thought, there's just days where I just don't think I can do it. And he knows that the struggles that I have. And he said, but you wouldn't be who you are today if you hadn't. And he said, nobody pours into mama. You pour into everybody all day long. You pour into our kids. You pour into me. You're my helpmeet. You pour into the people at our church. And he said, nobody's pouring into you except the people at Plexus. Obviously the Lord. Okay. But other than the Lord, he said, nobody is giving to you. And he said, you have grown in your ability to handle things. Okay. He said, you've grown in your ability to handle things, your ability to handle people, like the conflict at the church, when people do their thing at church, and he's like, you've grown in all these areas. And so whenever he said that, though, it helped me because I needed it, number one, but his perspective is different than mine because all I see is the hard a lot of times. And so I want to encourage you, though, because the Bible is very clear that there's a season for everything. And there's going to be seasons where you are in a growth season in this business. And some of you on this call right now are in that right now. You are in growth. You are in momentum. Our team is in like slight momentum, almost there. Our whole team is almost in like, we can almost feel it. Okay. And some of you are in dry seasons where you've done some work, but you're not seeing a lot of fruit right now. And then some of you are in dry seasons emotionally where it's hard to pour out right now. You don't have a lot in the tank. And then some of you are not really sure what season you're in because it's been a while since you put your feet down to do the work. And so I just want to encourage y'all, encourage you with that number one, it's okay to be there for a little while, but it's not okay to stay there. And so, like I said, life gets very loud at times. And so keep remembering why we're here, what we're doing, and let the Lord pull you through. And some of y'all probably think I'm crazy right now if you haven't gone through that yet. While you got this business on the line, while you got this business in your back pocket, a lot of times it's the first thing we pull out of the pocket, which I understand because I do too. So I don't know if that helps anybody or encourages anybody, or maybe you don't need to hear that right now, but you might need to hear it in a couple weeks or in a couple months because it's coming if it hasn't yet. So anyway, and I also want to thank y'all for just being like my encouragers. Y'all encourage me, and sometimes I needed something, because if I didn't have Plexus, I would just probably despair a lot of times, because this gets me off my bottom. It gets me doing something, and it does really help me mentally a lot of times. And Jennifer says she would be so depressed if she didn't have Plexus. And we just don't know what we would be like without it. I know what I was before, and it has really helped me. So did anybody have anything to add to that little bit of something that I had on my heart for y'all?
I think it's just a matter of, just because you go through those tough seasons or those bad times doesn't mean you have to quit. And I think that's where a lot of people that look where we're at right now with our team, and they have a lot of regret, because when they went through those difficult seasons, whether it was outside pressure, problems, whatever, or even Plexus related, they let it put them out of the game completely. They just said, you know what, this is the easiest thing for me to put down, so I'm just going to put it down. And they forget the reason why they were there to begin with, because all they're seeing and focusing on is the difficulty and the situation and the problem, the heaviness, whatever it is they're dealing with. And even those of us that have to maybe pause for a little while, for a certain season or time in our life, just the fact that we don't step away completely is massively huge on so many levels. It tells our friends, it tells our family, it tells our children that we are committed and we are not quitters. Number one, just because circumstances change doesn't mean the value and the benefits that we are getting change.
Right.
And so we have to just keep those things, because the devil always wants our perspective to be off and for us to have the wrong perspective. And if you get the wrong perspective, it really pollutes everything. Yeah. And so keeping the right perspective no matter, and knowing that it's okay if we go through that, just like you said, Ashley, it's going to happen. It's not a matter of if, it's just a when. Right. Mm-hmm. But the thing is not to let yourself be so overwhelmed that you just can't figure out how to pick back up. And I think that's what happens to us so many times. If we went through a season and then we're like, there's so many things that I need to do, I just can't even start doing the one thing, and I would just encourage you, if you find yourself in that place or you get to that place, not to stay there. Even if you can't figure it out yourself, that's what we're here for each other for. Is like, hey, I know I haven't been doing the things. Yeah. Help me start doing some things. What's something I can do today? What's something I can do this week? And reach out to me, reach out to one another, to one of us, and let us hold your hand and hold your arms up and help you during that time, just as you kind of get your feet back under you and you start getting some momentum. Because once you start taking some action, it really resolves the feelings of overwhelmingness, because you actually start seeing things happen because you're taking action steps. So I just want to encourage you guys that just because there's times when you're tired, there's times when things happen, it's okay. It's okay. And that's the beauty really of this business, is that we can persevere and we can pause and we can step back for a few weeks or for a month or two, depending on what is going on, and it not completely destroy, derail, everything that we've worked for. So I just encourage yourself in that and know that, just like Ashley said, it's okay. And don't be afraid to talk about the business. You don't know who's been praying and asking the Lord for a way, and they're too afraid to say anything to you. They don't want to say anything to you because they're vulnerable. Okay. They're embarrassed. They may be very shy. We don't know everybody's situation. And us just even opening the conversation, you never know who's been praying and looking, and just you opening the door gives them the courage to tell you exactly what they need. And then there's your momentum right there,
Amen to all of that.
Action creates momentum.
Yeah, it does.
So that's something that Jennifer Harmon, when we had a coaching call, I think it was like 2 years ago, just action creates momentum. Sitting there waiting for somebody to come to you is not going to happen. You've got to message them. You've got to build relationships with them. I told one of my customers this weekend that's actually working towards going silver, posting on social media, I know it's not fun for everybody. I don't mind because I'm an open book. Not everybody is like that. A lot of people are introverts like Ashley. They don't want to share everything. And so for me, it's very easy. And I have to remember it doesn't come easy for other people. But I just reminded her, your social media page is kind of welcoming somebody into your living room and just letting them know a little bit about you, so that when you do get ready to message someone and start that conversation, they know a little bit about you. They feel like they already know you. Even if you are just sending them an invite this week. But I do encourage people even just to, start those conversations, build relationships with people. I mean, that's really where it's at, just genuinely caring for people. And like you said, there's, just like Valerie said, there may be somebody that's just waiting. There could be somebody that lost their job last week, or I've got a mom on my team that's expecting, and so she would love to stay at home. But I told her, I was like, I think that's great. I think you need to go for it, but you cannot just sit there and it happen. It's not going to just happen, because if it was going to do that, I would be at Emerald or Diamond now, and it is just not going to happen by sitting there. You've got to send the messages, you've got to do the posting, and you've got to share with people. I mean, that's what it is about. It's just caring about others. And if you don't know where to start, go to your friends list, go to who's watching your stories. If you're not doing stories, if you're not really sharing on social media, then pray. And honestly, that's probably the first thing we need to do is, Lord, who would you have me message this week? Who would you have me share with this week? Who needs these products and who needs this opportunity?
Absolutely. Thank y'all so much for sharing. I really appreciate that. And Valerie and Jennifer, that was awesome. And I'm sure that all of you had those little bits of wisdom that the Lord has given you along the way. And so we are going to end our call tonight. And like I said, we'll keep it short and sweet. Remember our challenge. This is not one of those events that I want y'all to sit on the sidelines. I want you to be sharing this business with people. Okay. Now, before we go away, I'm going to stop the recording. Okay, hold on. I almost ended the call. Y'all, I'm not joking. What is wrong with me? Okay, how do I even stop the recording? Okay.